So what's it like now coming back to Wales, staying in your family home during lockdown?
Yeah, it's been amazing actually. I'm based up in Wilmslow, up in Cheshire. And when the lockdown was announced, I just thought I don't want to be stuck up here on my own. And most of the time I can't come home because, flying to races, training camps. Home is somewhere I've never really associated with hard work and training. It's more family and friends. I've never actually trained properly here. When I come home, it's either for a break or Christmas. But to actually come home, it's been amazing. The weather's been amazing. I'm just exploring new roads, enjoying it. Quite a lot of turbo as well. I've been really fortunate that there's a bit of a spare room here, which is, we kind of always refer to it as like the room of requirements. It just kind of morphs into whatever you need it to be. So while I've been back, it's been a full lockdown setup. So fortunately for me, Wahoo sent over the full kit, a home gym installed here as well. So I've got a squat rack. In terms of the training I can do, there's nothing's actually changed. I can do everything exactly the same, which is good.
What's your favourite indoor session on the turbo?
To be honest, before lockdown, I was not a massive Zwifter. I didn't use it much at all. I always do my TT work on the turbo inside because it means I could really get my head down. It's safer. You're doing 400 plus watts on a TT bike, you're going pretty fast on open roads. It can be a bit sketchy. So I've always, and also coming from the track background, I've always done a lot with the turbo. And as long as I have effort, so I can kind of just crack on with it. But general riding, I've never really done on the turbo. In terms of weather, I'd rather ride outside even if it's pissing it down and cold. But I've actually really just got into Zwift. And I think the whole concept of the badges and leveling up, it's just another form of competition for me. So I think I did one day where I did close to 5 hours on Zwift, and I was just chasing all these different targets. Yeah, just a general big loop on Zwift is probably my favourite indoor workout.
Our lives have changed quite a bit, and I've recognised ways where actually I can do my job better from home. What have you found you're able to do better?
You learn a lot, I'd say, rather than found stuff you can improve on. I've always enjoyed training. I used to think I loved training, but in reality I don't. I love the process of training, working towards a race, and that's what motivates me. It's the process that I love, not so much the training.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've realised in the past year or so that it's not about reaching your goals, it's about climbing towards your goals. And I love working towards something, setting the bar high, seeing how close you can get. That's what it's all about for me. That's why cycling is so perfect, because you can always get better.
It's such a measurable sport as well. There's so many different data analytics you can work towards. Whether that's you want to increase your threshold, or whether it's something as simple as you want to go from doing 50 kilometers a week to try and do 75 kilometers. There's so many different things and different levels that you can do.
We just started the Spring Classics when lockdown was announced. That's something we have in common. We both love the Spring Classics, right?
Yeah, so the season we stopped for like the kind of most important point in my year. And, every year I target the classics, work really hard over the winter, over Christmas, with that goal being in mind. So then have it all just shut down and cut short was a bit frustrating. But I understand that it's a bigger thing for stuff, and cycling is a small thing in the great scheme, but, I still get annoyed about it.
Were you targeting a particular race, like the Tour of Flanders or the day?
You can't really, you can target specific ones, I guess, but I think once you're into that block, if you're going well, you're going well. For me, just trying to see a progression in what I've been doing in the years before, and, if results came from that'd be great, but just making sure I was in the racing. Newfoundland and Kerner were the last two races I did. So yeah, it was ironic actually. We were on the bus, and I remember Luke Rowe just said, "Don't worry, boys, let's get through this week on. Last race of the year. Kerner and Newfoundland, let's make it count because we're not racing after this." And at the time when he said it, we were all kind of just like, shut up, not a chance. But it transpired for us. It actually was the last race of the year.
Here we are. Yeah. Riding indoors. How did you go in the last two races?
Yeah, it wasn't great actually, because the year before in Kerner I was second, and leading into everything had gone well. I won a stage at the Tour de Provence maybe 2.5, 3 weeks before, 10 days, 2 weeks in Girona. I had quite a big training camp, and I put a lot of work in there. But yeah, for some reason when I got to the races, I wasn't quite there. I don't know whether I did too much or, a bit of a disappointment. actually those two, the opening weekend in comparison to how well it had gone last year. And so to not be at the level I wanted there was a shock, but always learning.
10 years ago, the idea that a British rider could win the Tour de France was unheard of. And now a Welsh rider has won the Tour de France. There's more Welsh riders in the pro peloton than ever before.
I think the whole setup in Wales has to take the majority of the credit for that. You know, Welsh cycling as a whole is a really good organisation, and what they do, the support they give the riders from a young age is a massive thing. The club system in Cardiff and in Wales especially is really, really strong. I came through the Main Flyers, which is the same club in Cardiff, which both G and Luke came from. Also Eleanor Bark, who's an Olympic champion on the track. Nicole Cook started there as well, Olympic champion in the road race in Beijing. So I think the club scene and Welsh cycling as a whole deserves a lot of credit for. You know, at the minute there's currently 5 of us Welsh riders in the World Tour, which is unheard of. You know, not so long ago it was just kind of G flying the flag, and now there's 3 of us at Sky, and then also you mentioned Scott Davis at Bahrain, and also Stevie Williams at Bahrain.
Yeah, because Wales is one of the smallest countries in the world, right?
Yeah, we're not a massive country. I always like to think we punch above our weight, and I think especially with G in terms of cycling, you know.
Yeah, I went to the Mainly Velodrome after G won the Tour de France. He came down to host an event with the kids. The impact that he had on their lives was incredible. Why do you think Welsh people made good cyclists? The constant headwinds and the massive climbs, the heavy roads.
The variety of stuff on offer to me when I first started riding. So like I mentioned before, Mainly was 10 minutes down the road, so that was straight away after my starting point. And then I've got Newport Velodrome 40 minutes away, so then I can get on the track, and I think, you know, that's also a massive aspect. If you look at all the guys, especially the 3 of us obviously at Ineos, we all kind of started out on the track at the Velodrome, and it makes a big difference. And then also the terrain, you got everything here. You got some really nice the UK long climbs, you know, 15, 20 minutes. The weather's not great, so I couldn't put it down to one specific factor. I think it's just a multiple of things.
What's your favourite climb in Wales?
Favourite climb? Probably the Bulk. So it's a climb outside the valleys, and you can go at it 3 different ways, and all of them are different. So if anyone's ever down in South Wales, the valleys, check out the Bulk.
We met back in your Wiggins days, and then you landed the big job at Team Sky, which is now Ineos. What's that journey been like for you?
Yeah, it's been mad because basically I need the first 6 months of the year off to be able to focus on the Olympics and stay with Team Wiggins, because you know, I've worked so hard to get myself into the position to join the Olympics. It almost seemed suicidal to sign a contract and then take all that control I had out of my hands, and then I could completely focus on Rio.
What was it like having Brad as a mentor, but also to share winning an Olympic gold medal with him?
Obviously, I've always looked up to Brad, and then when the team was formed and everything, kind of getting to know him better and better, winning the games with him. And even now, I can't really put it into words. It's just, I guess, I just look at it as something that's happened in my life, and it's something I'm super fond of, and it still feels a bit surreal, even almost 4 years on now.
I've got an amazing shot of you being led out by Brad on the London stage of the Tour of Britain.
Yeah.
What's it like how Sir Bradley Wiggins fucking lead you out?
Oh, it was mad because, you know, he was in there, he was throwing the elbows, he was taking the risks, and his continental team against lots of World Tour teams, and I managed to take out the first sprint, took the second, moved to third, so all the boys got behind me again, let me out. I was on the podium by 1 second, and the points used by 1 second, 1 point. So tight margins, but it all worked out. So yeah, and then that kind of set me on the path of being able to go to Sky, end of 2015, have my contract signed.
There's a brilliant picture of you somewhere where you're in the Team Sky bus. I think you're in your GB development squad kit, nerding out on the Team Sky bus. You know, was Team Sky always your ambition?
Oh, big time. That photo was taken at the Copenhagen Junior Worlds. So always, to be fair, the Sky and now Ineos, they always supply the team buses for the GB team, as like a lot of trade teams do. So we had the bus for warming up. I remember me and John Niven were and Hannah Barnes alone on the sky the rest of the time. So obviously we're all sitting in the chairs, and we found a sky cap, put the sky cap on, and yeah, and at that stage it just seemed a million miles away, you know, like I'd never end up there. Like I remember the buzz of, I remember me and Dibbo kind of sharing a room, and looking out the window you could see the Sky Mechanics truck, and I remember seeing Cav down there trying, fiddling with his feet. He had some like real cool pair, like silver Nike shoes, and it's kind of like, wow, there's the pros, oh, look at them, well, keep up their way, you know. Going into it, Cav was probably the favourite, and I still remember watching the 2011 Worlds. We had accreditation as junior riders. We managed to get into the pits, so we were stood maybe 200, 300 metres from the finish line. So every lap we'd see the guys coming through the GB train, just controlling everything. And I still remember seeing Cav open up the sprint. So yeah, that was pretty inspiring.
Yeah, the World Championships in 2011, still my favourite race of all time. All my favourite riders all together, working as a team, and Cav sealed the deal. That must have been incredible to see on the roadside.
Oh, it was, yeah. And it, you know, it's just, I'm fortunate that I'm kind of part of that generation who's behind the kind of bigger generation in terms of, you know, like your Cav, your Brad, your G, and what they've achieved. But they were, fortunately for us, they were achieving it when we were still, you know, 17, 18, and massively inspired by that. It just kind of showed that all this kind of stuff is achievable as British riders, and you know, you're going through the same pathways that they've been through.
The transition from Team Sky to Team Ineos, did you notice a big difference?
They changed the sponsors from Sky to Ineos mid-season, so for us it was pretty much just a change of jersey. You know, we got brand new bikes, different colours, got another new kit with Ineos written on instead of Sky, but past that, not much change. What we did really notice was the beginning of this year, the December camp and everything. It has been a change actually, and it was going to be super exciting to see how those changes were going to materialise then over the course of this year, which is unfortunately being cut on hold a bit. But being part of the Ineos sports group, to the extent we obviously had the sailing team, the football, they announced a partnership with Mercedes F1 team. You know, all the knowledge and collective intelligence of all those kind of different people working together was going to be quite an exciting thing. So hopefully when we get back to racing, we'll see some big games.
What I like about people like yourself, Chris Lawless, John Diven, is that you're kind of like, you're going to be the next generation of riders that the Brits look up to. What are your kind of hopes and dreams in the future, like, you know, post-COVID?
Especially in Ineos, it's such a buying culture that everyone understands, and the GC guys especially, the amount of work it takes to win these big races, and being part of that, it is so cool. You know, people think, oh, they're all sacrificing their own chances and no one gets that many opportunities, but
yeah, I think people forget that cycling is a really big team sport, and actually being part of a team is just as fulfilling as taking a win yourself. Like, if you can help your teammate win, you've won as well. Is that the kind of feeling you get from Ineos?
Yeah, big time. And I think I always just love that feeling of like kind of us against the world as a collective, as a group. You know, you kind of line up and you just feel like you're taking it on everyone, and you can just kind of take everything people are throwing at you. And yeah, it's a really cool feeling. I think, and maybe that's more me personally, because obviously I come from the team pursuit background, and it's a team environment, and you're only as strong as the weakest rider, and you get through it together. And again, it's the same kind of feeling, you know, when you're lining up for the final, it's like, that's against the world, fuck everyone else, we'll take anyone who wants it.
You've stuck together with Phil and Callum to create a coffee company, Five Rings Coffee. How hard has that been during the pandemic to start a new business?
Well, we actually started the business in end of 2019 is when we came up with the idea and, you know, registered everything with Company's House. And I think it kind of stems from the reason we wanted to launch earlier, we wanted to launch 1st of May. But I think the reason it took us so long from that starting point of 19, end of 19 to May now, was because we apply a lot of the same principles and aspects of how we were as bike riders and still are into the business. So we don't want to put anything out unless it's perfect. You know, work in that track environment where you go in and you clock in every effort. You've got laptops and TVs everywhere, breaking down your splits. You know what time you went through, and it's nothing of it. It's just that analytical side which is kind of built into us. And it's the same with all the stuff we found. You know, deciding on logos, deciding on names of different single origin coffees, the coffees you want to use, the website, everything. It takes us a while to make decisions on stuff, but I think that's for the betterment of the company and the brand. And it's something we're so proud of.
Why do you think cyclists are so obsessed with coffee?
I think coffee and cycling, it's synonymous. They go hand in hand. And growing up, you know, that was whether we stopped at a garden centre or a tea room or whatever. And I think as the coffee culture in the UK has got bigger, and the quality of coffee which you can get in most places, you know, everywhere's got good individual specialty roasters and coffee places now. It's just such a big thing, and I think I was with my dad, and before I started cycling, he never rode a bike. I was the first person in the family, you know, I just discovered it through going out mountain biking with mates, having mates close by. And through that, then he kind of got into bike riding, and my uncle got into cycling, and then all their mates got into cycling. So they say now they've got their own cycling club. And he was saying the biggest thing he's looking forward to after lockdown is going for a cafe ride with all his mates who are in BCDM, which is Velo Club de Morgano. And it's that social aspect. You just kind of, and you know, I'm more into coffee than maybe a lot of other people are, but we're just kind of ingrained in each other.
They always say never go into business with your best friends. You've got into business with two of your best friends. What's that been like with the relationship?
It's been good. We don't argue too much. Phil's a bit stressful. But overall, it's good, and everyone does genuinely bring different areas of expertise into it. I've always kind of been, I wouldn't say creative, but I always appreciate design, fashion kind of world. There's a lot of kind of areas which I have quite a lot of interest in. So on that side, I have quite a clear picture and image of what I want everything to look like. You know, the social channels, the cards, the packaging, everything. Phil's probably the most coffee obsessed out of all of us. You know, we're all to a pretty high level, but Phil is very high. You know, he's done some barista courses, he's done roasting courses, everything. So actually, in terms of like the product quality and his level of commitment and dedication towards making sure it's really good coffee. You know, like maybe there's a certain one where me and Callum are like, oh, this is pretty good, man. Phil was like, no, not right, we're not using it. So in terms of that, he kind of drives the passion on that side massively. And then, to be fair, Callum stopped cycling at the Commonwealth Games in 2018, I think it would have been, at the Gold Coast. So he's been retired now for a few years, and through that he's actually met a lot of people. He's worked in a lot of different industries already. He's been doing a lot of stuff in sports marketing, public speaking. You know, he's even been at the White House to do a talk on anti-doping. You know, the spectrum of stuff he's been involved in has been massive. So his contacts and just kind of running a company has been a massive help. And he's a really switched on guy. So across everything, we have everything. Well, we like to think so. Everything based. We've got the two coffees. One's a single origin Brazil. One's a single origin Colombian coffee. And both of them have stories linked to those countries. So the one in Colombia is called the Cali Crash, and that's kind of all based around one of the worst trips of my life, the Cali Track World Championships in 2014. And then the Blind Faith one is obviously Brazilian, so it's based around Rio, and there's a nice story which ties into why we called it Blind Faith. So that's another thing we wanted to share was, you know, if you've never met someone before, it's the first date, you're catching up with your oldest friend, something we've always suggested is, grab a coffee. You know, it's just synonymous with sharing stories and experience, whether you know them or you don't know them. And that was something we really wanted to buy into with Buy Ring, in the sense that while you're sat down, especially in lockdown now, drinking a cup of coffee, you can share those experiences with us. So we tied it quite nicely, and it's something we thought would be quite different and just a nice way of giving something extra to the consumers, because at the end of the day, they're spending their money, so the more value we can give them, and something a bit different, yeah.
You said you're quite a creative person. I see you're always making things like Lego, and you're always keeping your hands busy. Is doing things like making creative things and starting up a business a good distraction from the cycling world?
Oh, big time. It's a massive outlet for stress, especially Lego. I found for me, if I'm stressed about a race coming up or something's not going quite right, I can just literally lose myself in that world. I don't even think, but I'm just going through the process. And with 5RC now, it's the same thing. I'll spend my rest days replying to emails, speak to vendors, coming up with different concepts and stuff we want to try and launch in the future and putting plans in place. So I don't see it as work at all because, along with Phil and Callum, like 5 Rings is our baby. And we've just got so much love for it that, if we're having to go to bed a bit later or wake up a bit earlier to sort stuff out, then it's all hands on deck. And yeah, it's been amazing so far. And as an outlet, it's been great. And also just to keep mentally stimulated during lockdown has been a massive thing. It'd be very easy to slip into the routine of, ride a bike, get back, watch Netflix, maybe play PlayStation, and just not really do anything with this time. Whereas during this time, it's given us the opportunity to do a lot of different stuff with the company. So in that sense, it's been a bonus.
And where do you see 5 Rings going? This is built to last, right?
Yeah, so I think the whole idea is to start with coffee, because it's the original kind of thing which brought us together. At the minute we're selling online, we're going to be stocking wholesale once everywhere reopens, and then we kind of just want to build the brand in the sense across the spectrum of things. So coffee equipment, we discuss things such as like track days, and just kind of building that community. And I think that's the nice thing. Focus on one thing, get it good, and then if you feel you have the right people in place and the knowledge to do it properly, then you move into the other ones. But it's about making sure you nail the stuff you do. You want everything to be at a high quality. And again, that's the nice thing with the cycling community is there's so many people who cycle, who ride bikes, who are already, giving us so much help and advice, for nothing in return. And that's just purely because we're linked, people we've never met before. And obviously people who know who we are, but just through the cycling community and how they're willing to go kind of above and beyond to help us.
The community of cyclists around us are so supportive, they're giving, they always want to help you. There's no one that kind of tries to bring you down. You know what I mean?
No. Everyone's always got, full of encouragement. I think, and that's even, when you're first starting out on club rides and with clubs, coaches, everyone just will happily help with nothing in return. It's that community aspect. Thanks, pal.
Thanks for your time, man.
Thank you, pal. Cheers.